About plug-in chains for wheel locks. A plug-in chain is a chain that wraps around something like a bike rack and then plugs in to a wheel lock which is fastened to your bike, thereby holding the bike to the bike rack. Most wheel locks will have a hole on the opposite side to the key, and the plug-in chain's pin goes into the hole. You're just using the key that's on the wheel lock. This thing doesn't come with a key, so it's super convenient. It makes it a lot faster to lock up your bike. The fact that it can wrap around a pole through itself as well means it can be quite some distance from the pole where you park, or can go around something fairly thick. Whereas traditional locks will need to go around and back through all the way to themselves, so you get more length out of a plug-in chain than you do an ordinary lock. So we've got a big selection of plug-in chains. The reason we have so many is that there are compatibility issues out there, and some are stronger than others. The main compatibility thing is the length of the pin. So this being what we call the pin, it's maybe got a technical term. They come in different lengths, and wheel locks accept different length pins. The reason for this is some wheel locks are wider than others to cope with wider tires, and then the pin needs to go further to engage. The other reason is simply just branding. Different brands have done it differently. So how long is a pin? We have 3 lengths. Now you pull out your hop card, you can check how long they are. The long one is basically the whole length of a credit card, for example. That's 100 mils. And that is, Trelock has some like that, AXA has some like that, but just be careful, AXA can have more than one length. A medium length will be found on the Arbus one. It's 142 mils. It goes up to about the swipey bit on your hop card. And then the short pin, which is quite unusual these days, doesn't even reach the swipe on your card. Okay, so which one do you need? Well, the question is, which wheel lock have you got? What does your wheel lock need? It's okay to buy one where the pin is longer than what you need, but you can't buy one that's shorter. If you try the old AXA short one on the new AXA lock, it's not long enough to go in. Neither is the Arbus one. So you need to get the long pin if you've got the new AXA or Trelock frame locks. So that one's gone in. So if you need to get that one, then you have a choice of AXA and Trelock. They're sort of sister companies. Generally speaking, we would recommend the strongest one. So this Trelock one has a 6mm thick shackle. We recommend that one. If you've got an Arbus frame lock, then the long pin of the Trelock will fit. However, we would definitely strongly recommend the Arbus one because it's stronger. Even when they're the same thickness, this 6mm Arbus one versus this 6mm Trelock one, it is much harder to cut the Arbus one with the same tools. So you're getting more security out of that. Then you've got choices between how long the chain is, so you can reach further or have a more compact lock. And you've also got a choice of how thick the chain is. So the 8KS has an 8mm thick chains versus 6mm. Again, we're always going to recommend the strongest one, but you do have a trade-off here between weight and strength. If you've got a bike that can fit a wheel lock that fits the short pin, so for example the AXA Defender fits a short pin, then we would recommend you either get one of the Arbus ones, because the pin's a bit longer and the chain is stronger, or get this really heavy duty AXA one with 10mm thick shackles and the short pin. It is of course heavier, but then that will be strongest. There's a lot of people out in Auckland who still have the original AXA chains that were probably from the Defender. They're about 5mm thick. The chains, the shackles, and they are relatively easy to cut. We sold a lot of these until we figured out that there were better ones as more and different wheel locks came onto the market. So if you currently got one of these, we'd recommend coming in, upgrading to one of these, staying one step ahead of the thieves. Okay, that's all. Thank you.